My name is Clinton Thomas. I'm from Oakland, California.
My name is Cassandra Morgan, and I'm from originally Washington.
Hi, I'm April Fishhead Ringler, and I was born and raised in San Francisco, California, and I'm 60.
My story started right there near the Oakland Coliseum, where I dropped out of school after the sixth grade. My mother entered the hospital. I took to the streets. And I can remember someone asking me one time, would my mother be proud of me with all the things that I was doing and into? And I was just so self-centered at the time that I didn't even consider what another person's opinion would be of me, let alone my mother. After I was arrested at 18 for a crime I committed at 17, I was tried and convicted as an adult. And I spent the next 16 years in prison thinking I could run my own program, and still being oblivious to the razor wire around me and the assault rifles carried by the prison guards. I was still thinking I was in control.
So I had experienced with drugs from a really early age, 12, 13 even. I didn't start hardcore probably until I was about 21. And from the time I started, there was no end. I was in and out of jail. I spent probably about 4 years of my life just completely locked up, a whole year at a time.
I avoided going to the doctor for, I'd say, almost 25, maybe 27 years, because I felt, one, poor. I had gone through the system early in the early 70s with my mother, and she'd been ill-treated, being poor and being who she was. I didn't feel any connection. I actually felt like the hospital was going to judge me.
My period when I knew I would not look back came February 6, 2006. The morning of February 6, 2006. I was in an institution, as I said, running amok. I was addicted to heroin. I was embarrassed. I was ashamed. And I made the decision at that point in my life right there, that I would just try to be better. I knew I was poisoning myself, and I was becoming more and more conscious as I became a little older and mature with the fact that I was wasting the gift that I had been given. You know, so that was my aim, to kind of turn it around right there.
So I lived for about a year that way, just using, and towards the end I was living in a motel room with a man like 3 times my age and my son, and I was just tired of living that way.
I was severely depressed, and I also had terrible high blood pressure to the point where I would get to a corner and I couldn't make up a decision across the street. I was just rattled, and in fact, my heart rate was really high, so I was like, I gotta go.
I came across a flyer for HealthRIGHT 360, and it was worn and dated, but the information that was in there was so simple, I could really, really relate to it. And that's what kind of like planted the seed for me. And from that point on, I knew that I wanted to be a part of the process, because I looked into the history of the organization and seen that it was long-standing, and it's just committed to the change and to the betterment of human beings, and I wanted to be a part of it.
Shelly Wynn from Women's Hope at HealthRIGHT 360 called me back and wanted to get me down here as soon as possible. And so within 2 or 3 weeks, I had caught a bus and moved down here.
So I started going, and then I said, yes, I have this heart problem, I'm depressed, and I have hepatitis C. And so we began to take care of all of my problems, even little problems, skin problems, all kinds of stuff. And every time I go to the doctor, I come out smiling. I've never felt so loved or cared for by all those people. And they took me through the whole thing.
I hit a bump in the road. I had relapsed once, and for them to not give up on me, you know, and kick me out, I think that really opened my eyes too.
HealthRIGHT 360 has been just, like I've mentioned it to several friends, and I still do outreach today. It's been a godsend. It's been very instrumental in my transitioning back, because I've been out of the real world for 25 plus years. I'm a part of the process. I'm a part of the process. I step out into society on equal terms. I understand that because of my past and the past decisions I've made, that I've lost some civil liberties, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the consequences of my behavior. I'm not okay with the actions that created them. But when I step out in the world, I feel competent and capable. And that's one of the things I've dreamed of since becoming sober. And I'm approaching 10 years. But one of the things that I've dreamed of is just being out and not being judged as someone who would just be willing to take from society.
My life is something I never thought I would have. I work for the San Francisco Housing Authority. I have my own apartment. I pay my own bills. I go to work every day. I have money to do things, go places. Stuff I never got to do before. I spent years and years and years on nothingness, so it feels good.
Today, I'm using my opportunities to be of service. That's what I do today. At HealthRIGHT, I was given the opportunity to work primarily with the clinic. My job rocks. It really, really does. I cannot even imagine if I lived to be 100 years old and worked every day. I couldn't imagine waking up and thinking that, oh, I have to go to work today.
Those people busted their butts for me in every circumstance. And I'm talking about a lot of people with a lot of tests and, just making me feel comfortable. And are you okay? Do you need anything? This is what we're doing, explaining every single thing. And if I don't get it the first time, they'll keep explaining it. It's invaluable.
My mother would be ecstatic with the changes I've made in my life. I think my mother would be very, very proud of me today, because I'm proud of myself. Yeah.